Cradle, Dogs of Fount, Chapter 29, Part 2. The military was a better tool, or better yet, a weapon, and that weapon was wielded by those in the hallowed halls of government. He dismissed the thought that he would allow himself to become a wealthy and weak-wristed glut. However, he tasted power, and it could corrupt even the highest saints if attacked or seduced at a vulnerable moment. He had had enough. He clicked off the television and stood up, knees clicking, and stood listening to sense if his wife was still in the kitchen. He shook his head and walked across the room into the kitchen entry, and she was looking out the shoulder-high window into the city below, with the mug still in her hand and the other on her left hip. "We are going for a walk," Arturo stated. "Come on." "Art, I am entirely not. I wasn't asking. Come on." She sighed, lifted her shoulders for emphasis, and dropped them when she breathed out. She turned halfway around and placed the mug in the middle of the empty, still sink. The mug was still more than half full. Arturo gave it his best and smiled at her as warmly as he could muster. Out in the hallway, the faint din of music wafted to them, the sound of a sultry saxophone and tapping dry drums. They waited for the elevator, and he sincerely hoped he wouldn't have to make small talk with anyone out on the street. Out on the street, everything was subdued from the blackness above, and the street lamps that oddly reminded him that they were in the dark underground. The only visible people on the street was a couple 3 blocks ahead by another apartment building. The buildings, sidewalk, artificial grass made the place museum-like, but the quietness was nice. Quietness was a state where the general could really plan something out that was sharp and foreseeing, further than being in the midst of mindless distraction. But now it was time to give his wife the stage for some sort of catharsis. They began to walk in the general direction of the town square. "You blame me?" he asked. "When is everything ever that simple? And what do I know? For all I know, this would have happened eventually," Ruth explained. "Do you think I tricked you into coming back?" the general asked. She was silent for just a couple moments. "If there's anyone you could fool, you better believe it's not me. I came back because I followed my heart and I listened to my mind. We are older people, and the regrets will probably bug us till we die." She laughed morbidly. "I figured, what's the worst, you know?" The general smiled, and they walked past a corner pharmacy that was hard to tell whether it was open or not. "Time is its own in Fount," the general began. "You can live a nice and quiet existence without a need in the world. Heck, you have more of a chance of going mad from boredom than living on the streets. All I wanted ever since I left high school was to make Fount know that I was an active patriot of our nation. I wasn't going to squander life behind a desk and eat chocolate and drink coffee until I was a shriveled old man. I am a doer, and I wanted everyone to know that." They walked a block and it got a little colder. Arturo looked up and could almost see that the stone ahead was moderately higher than their apartment building. "And now, what do I have to show for it?" he went on. "There's a change in the wind now, Ruth." "I think you're right. Above that, I believe in you, Art." She patted and squeezed his shoulder. "Take your time and remember where this all started. What's at stake, what you want your future to look like." Soon after she spoke, they turned around, slightly discouraged by the coldness, and made it back to their building. The lobby was cozy and warm. A cat sat on the oversized dark purple floral couch. It made the general wonder if this place was big enough to have legitimate strays. Once they reached their floor, Arturo could already see the envelope stuck in the jamb of the door, above the lock. His heart only minutely lurched once, and he took his time getting there. Ruth sighed. Inside their apartment building, Ruth turned on the lights and stood near Arturo as he opened it. He read it for just a moment, and there was only 3 lines of center text. He threw the card and the envelope on the side table under the portrait mirror. "He's coming over for dinner tomorrow night," he informed. "And we get some answers," she responded.